one of the reasons why I like Batman so much is he doesn't have those superpowers. Now, he's super rich, so he has a lot of cool things. But the thing that I love about him is that he's not a perfect human. He goes out, he's not a Superman. He doesn't have all these abilities. He doesn't have kind of that rectitude that Superman embodies. But he goes out every night and he does his best to make the city a little bit better, a little bit cleaner, a little bit safer.
Hey, look out. It's Faith Talk Today. I'm Rick Probst. Welcome to another great show and another great Atlanta weekend. All right, we've talked to these guys before. I don't think Paul Asay, who is the associate editor for Plugged In, we've talked to Adam before. And after talking with Adam, we said, no, we want somebody better. So what we've done is
It's a low bar, though. You know, it's a low bar.
And this guy is really fun. Paul Asay is the associate editor for Plugged In. He's also a superhero geek, and he is a critic for and reviewing and critiquing movies, music, television, YouTube, some good stuff. Now, on Plugged In, Paul, I didn't realize this. This is impressive. 1 million hits every month. Who are you paying?
You know, it's crazy. It is amazing just how people have sort of embraced Plugged In, you know, because we actually don't pay anybody for this sort of stuff. We just write our little reviews, throw them out there, and people, by the grace of God, come and see them. So it's pretty exciting.
You know, that shows you how important really your calling is and what you're doing, right? Because if you're getting 1 million hits, you know, we struggle to get what Ezra, my producer, 10 hits. But that's probably because of the host. If we get someone else, it might be a better thing. No, I'm jesting, but I think that's really, really cool. That's the first time I've read that. I don't know if it was public before, but as I was reading and prepping for the interview, I thought, and I read it in two different places, I thought, wow, that's pretty amazing. By the way, guys, listen, this is good stuff. If you're a parent, a grandparent, it doesn't, a youth leader, it doesn't matter. It's for everyone, critiquing the movies. And we're going to get into some questions about superheroes because, like I said, Paul is the one to talk to about superheroes. And one of his favorite superheroes, which I think is Ezra's, is Batman. And here, I'm going to read this. This is what I read on about Paul. Paul enjoys Batman, bad movies, I think bad B movies, hiking, and the occasional marathon. He lives in Colorado Springs with his wife, Deaf Dog. Is the Deaf Dog still around?
You know, the Deaf Dog, I am sad to say, has passed on.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it was a little bit sad, but you know, he can hear now, I'm sure.
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And a smelly cat, which it's not his fault, Paul. And aren't all cats like that?
They really are. I do not know. Cats, they can be a little bit problematic, and this one definitely had some odor issues. We'll just say.
Well, let's get into Batman, then we'll get into the real business, right? Okay. Should I ask this? Your favorite? Wait a minute. Your favorite Batman? Don't answer yet. Actor. All right, I'm gonna throw mine in.
Okay.
I'm an old guy, of course. Adam West, to me, doesn't count as a movie Batman, even though they did Batman the movie. But Adam West, growing up, because I'm a boomer, he was Batman. Michael Keaton, I thought, there's no way he will be a good Batman. To me, he was the best, but that's just me speaking. I thought Christian Bale did good, except for in the end of the first one, which is what Batman Begins. And he said, "I'll be back." He sounded like Jimmy Durante. He said, "I'm back." and so I thought, I don't know.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm not the expert. Paul, who's the best Batman?
So, okay, for my money, and this, you picked some really great ones, right? I think Michael Keaton was great, except that he couldn't bend his neck when he was in the suit, and that was a problem. I'm a big Adam West fan. I really liked Kevin Conroy in the Batman animated series. I thought he was great in terms of his voice. But I mean, if we're looking for just purely a cinematic Batman, you can't get much better than Christian Bale. Yeah,
Yeah.
he did growl a little bit, and the
Yeah.
growling got to me. But
Yeah.
man, the movies he was in were just great.
I was the first. Have we seen the other ones? I'll have to ask my wife if we've seen the other ones. She would know. She's keeping the tally. But I do remember seeing the first one, and for what I saw, I thought it was so good, so well written, and he did a great job as Bruce Wayne and Batman. It's just I make a little quip there about the Jimmy Durante thing. But to me, I thought, and Alfred, oh my gracious, I thought,
Michael Caine, you can't go wrong with
yeah.
Michael Caine as Alfred.
Hey there, if you're enjoying Faith Talk Today, make sure that you click the subscribe button to our YouTube channel and give this video a thumbs up. How's that? Yeah, and help us reach more people, will you? And catch the full audio podcast wherever you listen. Just search Faith Talk Today. New episodes get dropped every Monday morning. So thanks for listening. Now back to the conversation.
That was great.
Good stuff. By the way, Paul talks about some of the movies like Thunderbolts that was released this month. I saw him on the Pastor Scott Show, our sister station, KKLA. That was a good one. I love your review there. We may talk about it. We want to talk about superheroes and what makes a superhero. Let me quote this. I saw this morning, Paul, the trailer of Superman. You've probably seen it already. I'm not a huge I'm just about cussing here when I say this. I'm not a huge Superman fan. As a child, as a kid, I love Superboy with the dog, and I love that they brought the dog back. The dog is this. I thought that was amazing. It looks good to me, and I love this quote. Listen to this. I'm not sure sitting next to him if it was his dad. But it was an older gentleman. He said, your choices and your action, that's what makes you who you are. I would say that's character. Would you say that character is coming back instead of focusing on special effects in these superhero movies?
I think that's absolutely right. You know, when we live in this age of these superhero movies, right? They are always some of the biggest movies that they come out every year. We've seen that they've been around long enough that we've seen so many of them that they're starting to get a little bit worse in some ways, you know, because there's only so many stories you can say. And I think that one of the reasons why that is because I think that the makers may have lost sight of what really makes a hero. You know, sometimes not necessarily Thunderbolts, but some of the other Marvel movies that have come before, we have seen them get lost in the special effects. We've seen them get lost in these superpowers. And yeah, the superpowers are an important part of most superhero stories. But what makes a hero? It really is those choices. It really is that character. You know, we had talked a little bit about Batman. One of the reasons why I like Batman so much is he doesn't have those superpowers. Now, he's super rich, so he has a lot of cool things. But the thing that I love about him is that he's not a perfect human. He goes out, he's not a Superman. He doesn't have all these abilities. He doesn't have kind of that rectitude that Superman embodies. But he goes out every night and he does his best to make the city a little bit better, a little bit cleaner, a little bit safer. And I love that in that he's not a perfect guy. We know he has some problems, but every night he tries to do his best. And that's what a hero is. I think it's really somebody who does their best to make the world around them a little bit better.
Paul, I see he is the associate editor of Plugged In. PluggedIn.com is the place to go to. And to quote him from the interview I saw with Pastor Scott this morning, he said, this reminds us that we have flaws, but we're trying better. This reminds us that we can't give up. That's a keeper, Paul. You need a raise for that one. That's a great one. And I thought you had some really great quotes. And I know they're from your soul, they're from your heart, and that's why you do what you do. As you sit down, I mean, I guess, on one years ago, we could say, why would you need a plugged in? If it's from Hollywood, it's bad. Don't watch it. But you know what? It's not all bad, is it? It's not. Oh, okay. Well, then I'll just stick with the Christian movies and everything will be okay. But it's not bad that's being filmed in Hollywood or here in Atlanta or all over, right?
That is correct. That really is. When you're talking about the thing that we have to remember about when it comes to Hollywood and when it comes to the entertainment industry is that it isn't necessarily bad, but it is very powerful. We live in an age of story, and maybe we always have. Stories have always impacted us deeply. We are creatures that were built to resonate with stories. I think that's one of the reasons why Jesus spoke so often in stories, why he used parables to teach us, because that's how we're built. And so when we go to these movies, when we watch these TV shows, they impact us deeply. I can name, 5, 10 books, movies that have really impacted me deeply because of the messages that they have. So because of that, we need to pay special attention to those messages that we're ingesting, because sometimes the messages can be really fantastic. Sometimes they can be really terrible. And oftentimes, honestly, they're a little bit of both. You can have some great messages, but you have to wade through a lot of content to get there. And what Plugged In is really about is trying to help you tell you what that content is, so you know whether it's going to be navigable for you and your family.
Now we're talking with Paul specifically about movies. We really don't have time to get into the other stuff, but they do more than that, which is really cool. And Paul, we got to have you back because I have so much to talk to you about, fun stuff and important stuff. So promise that you will. If we have to get you to raise your right hand, we may do it to get you back.
I'll do it. 2-hour block. Give me a 2-hour block, and
there we go. I would love that. If you can't, I guess we'll just ask Lisa Anderson the next time. We'll ask her all your questions and see what she'll say. She'll probably.
Oh, that would be interesting.
That would be interesting. Maybe we should have you both on the show at the same time. And I think, that
would be.
Yeah.
I tell you what, if you can talk Lisa into that, I am down for that.
All right. Ezra can do anything. So I know he can work that. I'm serious, Paul. I think you're a great guest. And I think you have a lot of character and good stuff, and we just want to dig more into you. But I digress a bit. But pluggedin.com is the place to go to. You can check out the reviews on movies, music, television, and YouTube, which is, hey, I watch YouTube every day. It's just like Googling. To me, I have one of my tabs. It's, one of my YouTubes that I'm watching. That's just the way it is. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
So check it out. Check out all the reviews. It is good. And books. I didn't mention books today. And gamers, all that stuff. Pluggedin.com. Paul, you're a blessing. We'll get that set up and we'll have you back. And we've got to make that one an extra long show because, we've got to fit in everything that we want to say and go. God bless you, man. We appreciate you. Paul,
anytime.
Paul Asay is the associate editor for Plugged In, and you'll want to read his stuff, find out more about him and the reviews. And yeah, that Superman movie's coming out my birthday, July the 11th. I'll be 65, so I'm going to be seeing it. And maybe by that time, maybe afterward, we'll be able to get Paul and Lisa on, and we can ask him about what he thought. But hey, it's being written and reviewed. Read the stuff and pass it along to your friends, your kids, your grandkids, your nieces, nephews. It's really, really good stuff. Pluggedin.com. Hey, don't forget to listen and or watch this podcast again. Pass it around. You can watch it on YouTube and Facebook. You can also get it wherever you get your podcast or FaithTalkAtlanta.com. All right, another great guest. Not as great as Paul, but another one coming up next week. Hey, and have a good week. We'll see you next week. I'm Rick Probst. This is Faith Talk Today. See ya. Hey, that's it for this episode of Faith Talk Today. But wait, there is more. You can go ahead and click the next video and keep watching videos and share them. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and to the Faith Talk Today podcast. And we'd love to connect with you online. Just follow us at Faith Talk Atlanta. We're on all the socials. Hey, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time on Faith Talk Today.